And I picked up this book, and it was like a pirate book. And I was like, cool, pirates. What young boy isn't going to be into pirates? And I read this book, and it was the lamest, weakest, most pathetic pirates ever. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to read this to my son. And I just decided I'll write my own books for kids. And so, and the idea of the first Warrior Kid book was just like immediately in my mind. The whole thing, like start to finish, I had the whole thing in my mind almost immediately. And it's it seems obvious, right? Like there's a kid, like all kids, who can't do any pull-ups, doesn't know his times tables, doesn't know how to swim, and he's getting picked on by the school bully, right? You go to any kid in the world, they've got one of those problems or a problem like those problems. And so I put those problems in the book, and then I brought in a character, Uncle Jake, who's a SEAL, who is going to come stay with, the family for the summer. And he's going to teach this kid how to fight, how to eat right, how to exercise, how to study, and how to swim. And that's the first book. And the feedback of all the things that I'm currently doing, getting feedback from like a 10-year-old kid that writes me a letter and says, I did my first pull-up, or I got an A on this math test, or I started training jiu-jitsu and I did my first competition. Those are the most epic things to receive.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There's not a lot of, I shouldn't say that. There is a lot of guidance out there in the world right now. Not a lot of it is good guidance, And so the values that kids should be receiving, in many cases, they're not receiving. So I tried to give it to them in a fun way. They're funny books, but they're powerful too.
When did the first one come out?
I think it was 2017, because I was almost done writing it as Extreme Ownership was coming out.
Okay. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm super
You're touching a lot of people. I know you know that. I would venture to guess that it's hard to grasp that. And, but you're a huge motivation for me. And, I hear about you all the time, and it's, man, it's fucking cool what you're doing. You're pumping a lot of good into the world. You're pumping a lot of what people need into the world, whether that's adults or children. And man, there's just that many great role models for young people to look up to these days, and you're one of them, and that's fucking cool.
Well, like I said, I had some great role models in the teams, and left me with some, especially the guys that I lost. Those guys were just great role models. And sometimes people ask, like, if having kids made you more nervous about going to war, and for me it didn't. Like, I felt like happy that I had kids. And Mikey and Mark, they didn't have kids, man. And it's, it breaks my heart. And luckily Ryan, before he died, his wife got pregnant, and that's just awesome to see. But, passing on what example those guys were. And, the character in this book right here, the Warrior Kid book, the main character is named Mark. And there's another book I wrote for kids called Mikey and the Dragons. And clearly the main character in that book is named Mikey. And so those guys doing my best to make sure that, people remember them and learn some of those things that represent their values of what they were like as people. So it's an honor to be able to share their memories and make sure that their names are never forgotten.